Good evening and welcome back to Be Rich. I have my brother Vinod with me, and so we thought we will continue our series on stock picking. And so we discussed profits to earnings ratios. We went with great detail, and I made it as simple as possible to tell you which stock to buy and which stock not to buy based on PE. The only thing you have to discount it over a long period of time. And when you discount it over 20 years, it becomes apparent a high PE stock has to continuously grow at 30-40% for it to justify. The problem is most of us don't look at it at a long time. But unless you don't look at it as a company, as something that will exist forever, you will not be able to figure out
Very true.
whether to buy or not to buy. Companies have a life far longer than what you and I can imagine. Because you look at Tata Steel, my father worked there for 10 years. Tata Steel started before my dad. My dad went to Tata Steel, worked for 10 years. A lot of his friends work for life in Tata Steel. They're all dead and gone, and still Tata Steel continues. So, this is how you look at a company. Today, let us look at the next metric, and I have Vinod to discuss that with me.
The next metric which we thought we will hit upon is what Anand's going to love decimating is earnings before tax, amortization, and interest.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is, we call it in India as EBITDA.
Yeah.
This is earnings before depreciation, interest, tax, and what is called as amortization. But actually, I believe in it. I don't believe in this at all. Charlie Munger was very famous about this. This is a lot of nonsense because this is absolute load of nonsense because you have to have depreciation because you are going to actually buy another thing, buy another company. We discussed Tata Steel, so I'll tell you we'll discuss Tata Steel itself. Because the steel plant will run out and you need to replace the furnace, you need to replace the parts. Over a period of time, you have to keep on making capital investments.
It's as good as hypothetical earnings.
It's not a hypothesis. So, if you think you're not going to make capital allowances, then you're dreaming about it. And then what is the point in interest is a major cost in value companies like Tata Steel. Unless they become debt free. And there is no way Tata is going to become debt free in quickly because the moment they had a good year and they cut their debt, they went and acquired another couple of plants. And therefore they increased their debt once again. It's not as bad as what it was before, but still they have debt. And they are not going towards a zero debt company. So you have to interest is an explain interest
That's
is an
because Tata, the reason why they're not going to zero debt is they look at that as all the companies together holistically. When you look at it, all the
no,
companies Tatas
I'm
have, that is
then
debt is very,
negligible.
yeah, for them.
But JSW has more debt.
Yes.
The aluminum company Hindalco has a lot of debt. These guys use leverage as a part of business. So they want to put very little equity, borrow a lot of money, and leverage it. In such cases, interest must be considered as a rightful expense.
Correct.
For ITC, EBITDA doesn't matter at all. EBITDA matters in companies like Tata Steel, Hindalco, and JSW where debt is great.
Very true.
But my theory is in all these companies, assets need to be replaced. So you have to look at depreciation. Interest is a major component which will decide whether you are dead or alive. You have to look at interest. And taxes is something that you have to pay. Even if you die, taxes come behind you. It cannot go anywhere. So you have to look at EBIT. If you don't, or what is the point in looking at earnings before this? If I'm very profitable before paying interest,
And all your money goes off.
all the money I pay to the bank, I work for the bank. At the end of the day, I have no money to pay for my shareholders. What is the problem for? What is the point in having earnings? And if all my money is going to only pay interest, tax, and depreciation, then there's no point being a owner.
But maybe another way to look at it is, Anand, if you are let's say, a militant investor, a kind of guy who goes inside, takes over the company and breaks the company into pieces and sells it off, you can see if there's lots of earnings and the interest is very high, you become a majority shareholder and twist the arm of the board to close the loans, to close.
It's not very easy to close the loans. See, suppose
Of course, this is purely intellectual. For us, we are small investors, so
So you are first, you are an extremely small investor.
yeah,
You can't even get past the gate in Jamshedpur.
correct.
Okay? Even with all my followers putting all their shares and giving me a proxy, I won't get past the gate in Jamshedpur, let
Correct.
alone the board. So, what I'm trying to tell you is you try to take over a company. Once you try to take over, then the only way you can pay back debt is actually by selling a portion of a company and reducing debt. You have to break the company.
True. Would Syntex be a good example of this? How he had a product and his earnings were so great,
Hmm.
so
I
good, but
lost
then
money in
yeah,
I made money and I also lost money in
but
Syntex.
just because he did not have the appetite to get rid of his debt,
Yeah,
he
he didn't
destroyed the whole thing.
exactly. And that is what taught me the uselessness of EBITDA
Earnings.
as an earnings. It was a great brand with lot of good value with practically no competition.
Yes, had a
At
good
what
moat.
he had a great moat and he invented the second competition. Quite unnecessarily, he decided to go on a buying spree.
Yes.
He went and acquired a lot of companies which made plastic components for cars and vehicles, in which he didn't have a boat,
No.
for which he borrowed money in euros. And he had to pay back in euros, and that's what killed him.
Very
The
true.
fall of the rupee against the dollar is what killed Syntex.
Very true.
Like it killed Anil Ambani, it killed Syntex.
And they want to kill Adani too.
It will kill, I don't, that's, I'm a politician, so I don't want to say that openly, but he's going to be in serious
Okay,
trouble.
anyone who borrows in dollars has to be very careful.
Borrows in dollars, unless you have earnings in dollars, is going to suffer.
Yes.
So Syntex was a classic case. He could have kept his trap shut, made those tanks, made those dustbins, made those parts, and
And
kept
by
it.
this time.
And by this time, he decided to leverage, borrow abroad, and buy companies which he had, and get into businesses which he had no idea about.
True.
And he could have stopped at that. He decided to set up a textile mill because he started as a textile mill guy and went into Syntex. He thought I have to conquer the old market
No,
back.
yeah, he got an ego thing
He
saying, I'll
got a
go back
ego,
and
yeah,
take
and he
revenge.
created a Jay Bharat textile mill, and he decided to make high-end high-end textiles.
Textiles, yes.
Yes, and who got the textile company finally mill at half the price because the banks took over and had to sell it.
Had to auction it off.
Action of enough, and Reliance got it for nothing, next to
Yes.
nothing. So it is very difficult to leverage and grow because when the debt cycle turns against you, it can be massive
Yes.
and can hurt you. Luckily for Tatas, they have huge cash reserves. They have a company which gives them nearly 10,000 crores.
That's why when you look at it holistically,
Because
Tata's is in very good shape.
Tata's is in very good shape, and Mandi Tata still has so much, and Tata Motors has debt.
Yes.
The others don't have so much debt.
Correct.
And they have a brand name for which they can raise money. Syntex did not have that. Anil Ambani had a brand name, he blew it.
It's very true.
His brother succeeds because he earns in dollars and he can borrow in dollars. Because if you can earn and spend in dollars, you will not have a great problem.
Very
But
true.
if you look at Reliance shares also, there will be long periods where the company will do nothing, and then short bursts where the company's price goes up. Again, it all depends on the debt cycle.
Very true.
He claimed that when he sold that Facebook, the Geo stock to Facebook and others, which
He
he
is going
did,
to, yeah, more
he
to
is
close.
going to be net debt free, which he didn't. He never became net debt free. He kept borrowing to do other projects. It's extremely difficult to be net debt free. So when you buy a highly leveraged company, you have to look at the forex and how much of that debt is abroad. And even if your debt is Indian debt, you will have to pay the price. You cannot ride on interest.
True.
And what Signature Bank taught us is the most safest asset. The US Treasury can erode in value and you can be wiped out.
Yes.
And therefore, if you look at net profits only,
Yes.
don't think that the company is making cash profits
Don't look at
and,
gross profit. Yes.
and depreciation, interest, and tax is going to vanish. It's for highly sophisticated guys, not for ordinary people like you and me. I made the mistake in Syntex. I made some money, I lost some money. Overall, I made money. but the loss hurts. All the infrastructure companies that went bust in India went only because of this. I can name any number of companies.
True.
Don't, and it was safe. The government gave the tender, the government made the payment, the companies borrowed to make infrastructure,
Correct.
they got wiped out. In fact, the entire Subhash Chandra empire, CSL empire, is wiped out because of his bet in infrastructure.
Yes.
So that's what debt can do you. Debt destroyed. He had SL and he had Z, and both of them were dominating. He lost SL Pro Pack first, he lost Z, he's lost Dish, he's lost everything, and he's just holding on to 4% of Z when it merges with Sony.
Yes.
IndusInd Bank had a debt in another company, City Cables. Z had given him only a letter of comfort, and he realized they are going to bleed. Allow Cable to die
Die. Yes.
and keep Z Enterprises, Z Entertainment. The city IndusInd Bank went to DRT, went to the NCLT, blocked the deal, takeover deal of Z and Sony till they got paid. They got paid some money now, $10 million.
Yes.
And only when the money was paid did they withdraw the
Block.
block. And he was forced to pay because he wanted to merge it with Sony.
Yes.
So this is what debt can do to you. Subhash Chandra, Anil Ambani, and the Syntex family are really examples of what debt can do to you. So don't rely on EBITDA at all. That's my version, especially because we are very small time players
Yes.
and you do not have the depth and knowledge to know what is happening. We don't get information on real time basis. We get information in a very delayed manner. So stay away from debt. Thank you for watching Be Rich. If you like this content, hit the like button of this video, subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell notification. If you do not turn on the bell notification, you will not be notified every time we put out a video. Once again, I thank you for your support for Be Rich. I propose to visit to the city of Singapore between April 30th and May 1st. Whether you would like a meeting on 30th April or May 1st, I leave it up to you. If you wish to contact me or attend that meeting, please send a message to the WhatsApp number given below and drop a mail to the mail ID given below. My team would get in touch with you, finalize the venue and the date, and we'll put out one more ad. But those who desirous of meeting me in Singapore in the last week of April and the first week of may contact the WhatsApp number below or write a mail. Thank you. It's a great privilege and honor that so many of you in thousands have subscribed to my channel and have supported me. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. If you want an Amazon Kindle copy, you can click the link below. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.